Hello everyone and welcome to Fableheim and a patch notes video. Happy DLC day for Age of Wonders 4, the first DLC. Dragon's Dawn is here, and it is accompanied, of course, with a patch. The Wyvern update, the first major update for Age of Wonders 4, for which I am very excited, almost as excited as the DLC to be honest. But we'll begin our first Dragonborn playthrough tomorrow. It will be King Under the Mountain Smog on the 21st. But I thought, because the patch notes are so long and they released both of the patch notes and a roadmap at the same time, that I'd do a special patch notes video. I do these very rarely, so you know, special occasions. So let's just hop right into it. Hop. For the highlights, a new feature has been added, Create Faction and the Random Generator. Added a Create Faction option to the main menu. This takes you to Faction Selection where you can create a new faction or choose to edit an existing one. I didn't know I needed this in my life, but as someone who makes a whole bunch of random factions to throw into my games to, well, you know, defeat, forcibly bend the knee, this is very helpful. I like it quite a lot. Added a random ruler generator found in the custom ruler tab. This will generate a random ruler faction to play as. The AI already had this trick if you did that tick when you were selecting your opponents, but now we have it too. Fantastic. I'm never going to use it, but fantastic. There's a brand new body trait. Poisonous. Form units gain +2 blight resistance, and melee attackers have a base 30% chance of becoming poisoned. This is the body trait we are getting with the Lizard of Folk. Their mind trait, I believe, is cold-blooded, which is already in the game, so just a body trait. But we also get a society trait, Artifact Hoarders, which we will be using in the playthrough starting tomorrow. Gain a Tier 2 or Tier 3 hero item after clearing an Ancient Wonder or Infestation. Gain extra mana for unequipped hero items in your inventory, and start with 2 random hero items. This is basically the other side of the coin for the Draconic Horde, where you gain gold for unequipped hero items. Now you gain mana too. It'll be great. I hope. We'll find out. Improvements to the world map. New events. Further explore the history of your ruler with new origin events for Ascended Champions and Wizard Kings. Not us, unfortunately. Underground resources. Excavating diggable earth can uncover resource nodes and magic materials alongside pickups and the occasional marauding army. This is very good. My first playthrough was underground, and I was in for quite a surprise at how many empty excavation sites there were. Thank you. The first of many changes to the underground, I hope. Dismantle city ruins. This 3-turn world map operation allows the removal of city ruins from a province, making it eligible. This is fantastic. In many playthroughs, I have seen a city destroyed, and you can't build anything on it or directly next to it, which can remove quite a bit of the map. So it was always just worth it to vassalize people, even if they hated you. Improvement to the quality of life. You now have the ability to disable the combat action camera, giving full control to the player. This should help with accessibility. This is when the camera zooms around depending on who is taking action. You can now disable that, and the camera will just be wherever you want it to be. I might try this out. We'll see. Sometimes it was more amusing than anything to see it just whoop, over the entire battlefield. Status effects are now also displayed in the unit ability panel. Here you can see the number of stacks and duration of a status effect. They also include tooltips, so you do not have to enter the unit panel anymore to determine what an effect does. Oh, that's nice. It's a nice little quality of life thing. The show location button should now indicate way better where the corresponding event location resides. This now has an animated sequence so the player can visually see where the location is relative to their current location. That's quite helpful. It used to just be like a little ball that was opaque or transparent, so you could see where it was, but you had no idea where that was. Observe mode has a new setting, enemies only. With this setting, only movements, actions done by hostile armies will focus the world map camera. I may turn this on as well. I like that a lot. When you observe everyone moving, it can take a really long time on the intern phase, so that's why I go underground quite a bit just to skip all that. This, however, might be very useful. Added social media buttons to the main and pause menu. Great. The difficulty setting of the Initiation Realm is now locked to easy. Okay. The Manufactured War achievement now triggers when starting any war of moderate justification or higher when using fabricated grievances. I have this achievement. Okay, cool. A unit's critical hit chance can no longer be higher than their chance to hit a target. This prevents high crit chance units always hitting hard to hit targets. Yeah, that was it was quite a decent strategy actually, because I believe crit chance caps at 70%. So if you tried to hit somebody they can only hit like a 5% chance, and you crit off that 70% chance to crit whenever you attack, you just auto hit them. It was amazing. So slightly more fair now. 4 tactical combat summons now have a limited amount of turns to live. This is a huge change. Summon animal, summon elemental, and summon undead all now last only for 3 turns. That's when, the signature skills that are really ridiculous and you just always auto-pick. Now, I mean, they're still strong, but you may have to think about it. And the summon undead now summons a tier 3 undead unit instead of 3 tier 1 units. I believe this is the Banshee, the Corrupted Soul. Is that it? Might be in. Because the Bone Daddy is tier 2. So, we'll see. Now here are some changes to tomes. Conjure Astral Keeper. Summon only lasts for 3 turns. I've never used this, but okay. Amplification. Conjure Amplification Pylon. Summon lasts for 3 turns. Increase damage from 16 to 20 lightning damage. This is the pylon that when you summon it, you can attack things, and it will also increase all magic damage by 20%. Or is it tactical spells? That wasn't modified, so who cares? Vigor the Totem of the Wild now lasts 3 turns instead of 5. Animal summoned by the totem lasts for 3 turns. They're just kind of generalizing everything out, so it's okay. Same with the Wild Speaker. Conjure Animal summoned lasts for 4 turns. This is a tier 1 animal, so I guess they saw it. They can stay longer, whatever. Animate Flora summoned lasts for 3 turns. Usually my Flora die, like in 2, maybe even 1 turn, so this is fine. Nature's Wrath, the Horned God Awaken Flora summoned lasts for 3 turns. Same thing. Conjure Divine Beacon summons lasts for 3 turns. Was this not the one that just heals you? Astral Convergence Explosive Manifestation summons lasts for 3 turns. Okay. This was an AoE thing. You drop an AoE and you get 2 tier 2 astral units. It's whatever. Unit the Fire Giants Conjure Runestone. Now correctly says it lasts for 3 turns. The Lost Wizard Astral Rift summon lasts for 3 turns. If you get Astral Rifted, a summon, oh, that feels bad. The Ghost Ship summons Ghost, summon lasts for 3 turns. I have never seen... Oh, wait, no, I have seen this. Like I said, they're just generalizing everything. The Spider Hatching Bell, Spider Flute, and Spider Matriarch Slay. Guess what? Summons last for 3 turns. Yeah. Most zombie summon spells and abilities now summon a Decaying Zombie instead, which has a permanent version of Decaying. Increased damage per turn from 5 Blight to 10 Blight. This is a debuff. I believe this is the debuff that spreads. So it can spread to any adjacent unit and also reduces resistances, I think. But hey, Decaying being better is great. Oh dear, here come the culture changes. The War Shaman Invigorate changed from a single action to a full action. That was kind of strange. And Furies gained Frenzy, but their base damage was reduced from 12 to 10. Okay, I kind of expected more Barbarian changes, but that's fine. Fort of the Dark Culture. Interrogation Dungeon income change from -5 city stability, 10 knowledge, to knowledge per hero in prison to +10 city stability. Wow. +5 knowledge and +2 knowledge per hero in prison. That's kind of strange. The Virtual Mausoleum has changed from -5 city stability, +10 mana, +2 mana per hero in the crypt to +20 city stability, +5 mana, and +2 mana per hero in the prison. So, wait, in prison? Should this say in crypt? I think that should say in crypt. But anyway. Maybe they're both now in prison? Anyway, this is strange because Dark Culture likes to have, like, they can ignore negative city stability, but it always feels bad to have negative city stability because even though the Dark Culture can ignore negative stability, you still want positive city stability for the economic benefits. So I've never liked that about the Dark Culture. It seems like they're kind of going back on that, but we'll see how this really affects things. For Feudal, the Bannermen Soothing Standard has an increased cooldown of 3 to 4 turns. Is this their heal? Okay. I mean, the Bannermen were always good. Never felt that they're overpowered, but we'll see. We'll see. For Diplomacy, this needs a lot of changes. We'll see if they hit them all. AI player will no longer allow the player to surrender as a vassal to them if that means that either the player or the AI will have an alliance with all living players. And allied victory is enabled. Well, I'm pretty sure this would affect my my turn 2 military victory cheese. I said they were going to nerf it. AI players no longer will surrender as vassals to a player if their throne city is under siege. Instead, this now reduces the army power requirement drastically, so sieging will still affect the AI, but it still requires a sieging player to be stronger than the AI. Okay. Interesting. Just like changing how that works in the background. I'm not sure if this will help us or make it harder to get them to bend the knee, because it's already pretty tricky. I mean, they'd be open to it pretty early, but it would be very expensive to do so. We'll see. Added relation breakdown support to the relation value shown in the first meet message, as well as on the tooltips on player shields. Oh, that's nice. Because you had to, like, you weren't sure why someone would like you, like or dislike you the moment you met them, and you had to, like, cancel out the meeting thing to go find out. So this helps you just make decisions faster. Added new in the void first meet reactions depending on whether the player or the opposing player is in the void, or both. Okay. First meet friendly and hostile responses are disabled if either player is in the void. That makes sense. When war is declared, the opposing player is now also shown in the center of the screen, similar to first meets. Okay, I got it. This is on the blue screen. That's not that big of a deal. Added a goodbye button to several states during trading to allow you to exit out of trading back to the world map without having to go through the main diplomacy interface first. UI quality of life. Added tooltips to mentions of third players in the information section in the diplomacy screen, e.g. another player was denounced, now also allows you to inspect the player hovering over their name. Okay, again, UI quality of life. Armies are now removed from outpost districts when war is declared, even if the outpost was already occupied. This is now in line with the city logic. Makes sense? Fabricated grievances are now always worth 20 grievance points instead of getting a random value of 5, 15, or 30. Thank you so much. We've had grievances that were 5, and then the enemy AI would have 30. And it felt bad. It felt bad. And now it'll feel good. Added a max limit to how far trade costs of single trade items can stray from their original value in AI trades. Aw, you mean you don't want me to sell my 60 value horse for 220? Darn. Increase the lower limit to how far trade discounts can change the trade value of single items from 25% to 40%. Okay. Update the value of equipment trades to make the value based on the actual sell cost of the item. Makes sense. The teleporter and province claim packs are now part of the vassalage deal. Okay, so when I'm assuming this is for free cities. Or is it also for players? Or both? So when they become a vassal, they automatically get this? Treaty broken, 15 turns, and treaty created, 10 turns. Relation modifiers now have a turn timer. Previously, they used to last indefinitely. Ooh. Okay, that's a good change. Now exposing the exact alignment penalty for breaking treaties. Good. No longer showing the declaration counter notification when war is declared. Yeah. You got so many notifications when war was declared. And just clean that up a little bit. It's nice. Removed incorrect mention of an alignment penalty when trespassing. Also, it used to say you got like 5 evil for trespassing. Is that not the case? Okay. The affinity and Imperium costs of tier 1 to 4 Empire development skills have been adjusted. They sure have. Dipping into affinities was a little easier and cheaper than intended. This should ensure a need to prioritize their affinities intently to perfect multi-affinity builds. I love dipping. So we'll see how hefty this really is. Tier 1, 2, and 3 Empire skills increase the Imperium cost by 50. That brings them up to 100. Tier 4 Empire skills increase Imperium cost by 25 Imperium. Was this 200 or 175? Tier 1 Empire skills increase accumulated affinity threshold from 10 to 15. Tier 2 from 20 to 40. Ooh, that's double. From Tier 3, 40 to 60. And from Tier 4, 80 to 100. Basic seafaring increase Imperium cost from 50 to 100. Excavating from 75 to 125. Road building from 75 to 125. Diplomatic focus from 100 to 150. Advanced scrying from 100 to 150. Forced march from 150 to 175. Siege spec from 150 to 175. And the right of the last stand from 150 to 175. So I don't mind the changes here, because I do think it was really easy to just go down every Empire upgrade branch you could conceive, basically. But I don't think I like the increase in general, because a lot of these, you want every single playthrough almost without question. Like, seafaring if you're on a land map, whatever. Excavation if you don't plan on going downstairs, whatever. But road building, diplomatic focus, even advanced scrying, definitely siege spec. You want those every playthrough. So, I mean, it's whatever in the end, right? It's maybe a little less than 1 turn of Imperium, but still. Ah, well, we'll see how devastating it really is. Or Astral. Let's see if I remember what these are called. So, casting reserves moved from Tier 1 to Tier 3. This is the plus 20 world and tactical thing. Okay. Adaptive research moved from Tier 3 to Tier 2. It's cheaper to lock and shuffle, I think. Astral inspiration moved from Tier 2 to Tier 4. Surge spellcasting moved from tier 6 to tier 1. This is a big deal. This is the... You can cast on turn 1. No. Yes? I think this is the one where you... I should just look this up, to be honest. The one where you get bonuses for casting spells. So you can cast a spell and the next one will be cheaper. I think that's the one it is. And focus studies move down from tier 8 to tier 7. Okay. For Chaos Impressment, reduced upkeep reduction from minus 30% to minus 20%. This is for the tier 1 units. Lure of the Horde, reduced chance from 50% to 25% to spawn a tier 1 or tier 2 unit when you do something. Skilled Raiders, reduced reward bonus from plus 50% to plus 20% for pillaging, but it didn't touch the healing. That's good. Tireless Marchers, increased cost reduction and damage reduction to minus 75%. Great. Materium. Materium got a lot of changes, and it needed a lot of changes. Military Engineering changed Palisade Wall unlocked to work camp, so now when you put down an outpost with Military Engineering, it will be 25% cheaper instead of 50% cheaper. But you'll be instantly able to annex an adjacent province. This also means that when the AI spams outposts literally everywhere, you won't have to siege them to take them down. We'll see how that pans out. It'll change a lot, actually, in the expansion game. Metropolitan Society moved from tier 3 to tier 4. Warsmithing renamed to Arcane Artisans, because Arcane Artisans now grants plus 10 mana from mines and was moved to tier 3. This used to be plus 10 draft, I believe, and I never once selected it. Not once. However, now I think I will. Consolidated Industry moved from tier 2 to tier 6. And Master Masons was moved from tier 6 to tier 2. Is this cheaper provinces? It might be. Indomitable Defenders replaced with Provincial Architects. And Provincial Architects special province improvements cost 25% less production and 25% less gold. Good. Good. Special provinces are amazing, and I'm still getting used to incorporating them. For Nature, Wild Expansion reduced chance of summoning a greater animal from 60% to 20%, and no longer triggers on annexing Ancient Wonders or swapping provinces between cities. Yeah, this was the cheese you could do, where if you got this, you could just swap provinces between two cities and constantly spawn an animal. And apparently there was a 60% chance of getting a greater animal. But now it's 20. Druidic Care mana income reduced from 5 to 3. I'm not coming back to what that is, but hey, it was nerfed a little bit. For Shadow, Knowledge Extraction changed from 50 knowledge per hero level to 150 per hero flat. This is a tremendous nerf to Knowledge Extraction. On Brutal difficulty, you almost never fought a hero less than level 3. So you'd always get at least 150, and you just get huge bombs of knowledge, like 400, 500, 1,000, 1,500 from this talent. So this is a tremendous nerf, but I still think it's good. I mean, now it also costs 100 Imperium. I don't know. That's a huge nerf. Also, seeing increased knowledge income from 10 to 15. This is when you give a Whispering Orb to your vassals. Not bad. Death Magic increased casting points gain from plus 5 to plus 10 casting points and moved from tier 4 to tier 6. Not bad. Court of Whispers moved from tier 6 to tier 4. This is amazing. This is when you can give your Whispering Stones to enemy vassals and you gain an additional stone. Love it. Exalted by Shadows increased XP gain bonus from 100% to 200% and moved to tier 9. This is for your heroes. That's really level faster. Pretty good, pretty good. I'm not sure if this affects your Lord, however. That would be kind of busted. Shadow Domain now additionally grants cities plus 4 vision range. Dark Vigor moved from tier 9 to tier 7. Is this you can heal in enemy territory? I like that. I like that. Rite of the Crypt-Blade. Crypt-Blade is now a free action attack, and zombies are created with full action points. Now a tier 4 item instead of 2. Nice. This gave you a miscellaneous item. It did like 22 damage or something, and it wasn't really good. I've used it once, and I didn't like it. Rite of Forbidden Knowledge. Knowledge gain increased from 500 knowledge to 750. Ooh, that is a fat chunk. Liked it. Change Society trait bonuses that give +1 rank to all units of specific unit roles to only give the bonus to all racial units of specific unit roles. Let's see. Okay. So I'm assuming this is like if you got +1 to pole arms, this wouldn't affect golden golems. Or bronze golems or whatever. Okay. That's fine. Decrease the HP bonus from exotic mount traits from 10 to 5. Oof. The Wonder Architect Society trait now uses the correct icon. Rename Shadow Walkers back to Devious Watchers. Okay. And change Melenis into the Wizard King she was always meant to be. Ah, Mama Melenis. Wait, wrong game. 4 heroes, Mortal Champions and Wizard Kings, now get their signature skills at 4, 8, 12, and 16. Down from 5, 10, 15, and 20. Yep, this will also affect Dragon Lords. I mean, that's just how they're coming in, so they don't need to state that they changed it. Racial heroes now get their cultural hero skill by default. Okay, if you load a save where such a hero has wasted a skill point buying such a skill, it will be refunded. I believe this is referring to... So if we, on the Alway playthrough, if we got... Is it Twin Awakening? Was the cultural skill for high culture? Our heroes that were also of our faction, the Falmari Sea Elves, would just have that. Which is a good change. I like that. Note that Dragon Lords and Wizard Kings still need to buy the skills. Yeah, that's fair. Hero skill spur to action no longer works on heroes. Hero item, Spider Matriarch Lake, now only grants tier 4 spiders. Oh, they bought that. Pantheon leaders recruited as heroes in other games can no longer be animated. From the crypt? Okay. The game now prioritizes certain fonts depending on the set language. This is to fix incorrect glyphs in the Japanese language. Okay, good job. Added color coding for the different properties to the unit panel. For example, debuffs are red. Added a next and previous button for the hero panel screen. This is amazing. So now you can just shuffle through all of your heroes and check out their inventory at the same time. Fantastic. Buttons for cycling through cities are now in a fixed position. Added duration pins for operations on the world map. Allowing the deselection of allied reinforcements in the combat enter screen. Oh, so if you had allies coming in, you couldn't tell them no? Oh, weird. Add a notification which tells the player one of their provinces is being pillaged. I can't wait. Add a notification which reminds the player one of their pillaged provinces can be repaired. Add a notification which reminds the player that one of their heroes has a signature skill available. Well, that's helpful. In advanced setup, it is no longer possible to disable teams for 1v1 games. Okay, maybe there's confusing stuff in the back end. Here's some multiplayer stuff. I don't particularly care about it. But basically, the issue with multiplayer, you can pause if you want to. In multiplayer, if you had more than like 2 people, there would be huge desyncs, and it would constantly crash or crash the game. They'd lag out, and you had to rejoin. So basically, they fix a bunch of the whole desync issues and crashes, which is amazing. I look forward to hearing what multiplayer people have to say. I, myself, not that interested in it. So there it was if you wanted to stop. Basically, they just did a whole bunch of stability and bug fixes. In short, free city available for negotiations advice would not show for free cities that are actually not available for negotiations. Cool. Both low food and low stability advice will now trigger properly. Fair enough. Now here come the tomes. I've seen one of these changes and I didn't like it, and I think it's this one. The amplified arrows from the Tome of Amplification no longer allows units to keep firing after the first shot kills the initial target. Darn. Just in time, we finished our Archer playthrough. So I mean, this makes sense, right? I don't think there's any other mechanic in the game that works the way this did. But I still thought it was a fun little quirk. Archer's too strong. For Astral Mirror, Mirror Veil is now permanent, like any other unit enchantment. Okay. I'm not recalling with it. This is from the tier 4 tome. But I'm not calling. In Archmage, this is the tier 5 tome. I've never seen this before. Maximize magic, change from 100% crit chance to 40% crit chance and 20% hit chance. Oh, was this too strong? This made it so your magical, I think it was it tactical spells always crits? Or was it magic attacks? Not sure. Basically, it was nerfed a little bit. For Chaos, the Houndmaster decreased hit points from 60 HP to 40 HP, and the Houndmaster Warhound also was nerfed by 20 HP. Wow, I guess people were just spamming Houndmasters, huh? Chaos Channeling, Fan the Inferno is now a battlefield-wide spell, deals 5 damage and applies burning. They can manipulate burning quite a lot, so makes sense. For Materium Crucible, Lava Burst reduced the damage from 40 fire damage to 30 fire damage. Fair enough. For Nature, Roots, Living Vines from Vine Prison and Vine Fortress can no longer get unit enchantments, have had their AI target priority greatly reduced, decreasing the chance of AI targeting them and only lasts for 1 turn in combat. Players just picked this tome at tier 1 and can break even the mythic AI. What should we do about it? Nerf it into the ground. There you have it. For the Tome of Glades, Leaf Skin transformation now grants +1 resistance in addition to its other effects. This is the one that gave you forest walking, I believe. So now it's actually, there's actually a reason to get it. Nice. For the Outer Tome of Zeal, the first tier 1 one, Zealot decreased physical damage from 12 to 11. It's a slight nerf on that starting unit. For Shadow, they've rebalanced the Soul's economy. The following changes should result in a higher general Soul income and the possibility to gain even more Souls when investing in it. So, the Undead mechanic, they've talked about how they want to change it further. They're not done with Necromancy. They came out and say that. But this is the changes that they felt they could do quickly, like quickly enough for the first major patch. So keep that in mind, and we will also be investigating this with an Erratus playthrough right after the Smaug playthrough. He'll be back, and he'll also be checking out the brand new Presence trait, if you're interested. So, all Necromancy tomes increase the Soul Harvest income from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 per hero level to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 for each hero level. Just a slight increase, which could multiply itself. For the Tome of Souls, the very first one, Skeletons and Bone Daddies now have low maintenance. That's good. Replace Soulbind Army with Sustained World Spell Soul Collection. Soul Collection grants you +6 soul income with a 30 gold upkeep. I like this, but I'm also not sure how I feel about it. Because Soulbind Army was really useful early on to pop. I didn't do it very effectively. But if you saw an army and you soulbind it, the whole thing is soulbound, so you always get souls from them, which would now be more effective. And then eventually the problem, right, was that eventually you have soulbind on so many units that it kind of was irrelevant. So, I don't mind this one. Soulfire has been changed from casting costs of 10 souls to 10 mana. This is an amazing change. I might actually use this now. And Soul Overflow max HP buff no longer stacks with itself. Darn. The Tome of Necromancy, the tier 2 tome. Necromancer reduced soul cost from 50 souls to 70 gold and 25 souls. Good change. Added the Summon Corrupt Soul spell, an amazing change. And the Corrupt Soul itself is now undead and has low maintenance. The Corrupt Soul was the unit that you get from the Decrepit Tome Ancient Wonder. There's no other way to get it. And for Rotting Explosion, reduce the casting cost from 15 mana and casting points to 10 mana and casting points. How many casting points? Gotta pick it up to find out. But good enough. The Tome of Great Transformation. This is the tier 4 tome? 3? 4? The Whiteborn Transformation, tier 3 tome. Change the casting cost from 200 souls to 300 mana and 100 souls. It's going to make it much easier to cast. It was a pain to get 200 souls in the early mid-game. Now, we just need a lot of mana, which could also be a problem, but that's fine. For unit changes, Giants got Unstoppable Juggernaut, can destroy non-fortified obstacles without slowing down. Cool. Ghost Ship is now ethereal and undead. If this were Age of Wonders 3, that would mean that Necromancers could take it over. Alas. These units now have Juggernaut, can destroy non-fortified obstacles by walking. The Kara, all adult dragons, Entwined Scourge, the Kraken, the Caustic Worm, the Earth Titan, the Horned God, and the Golden Golem. Makes sense. These are all ginormous monstrosities. The following units are now permanently mounted: the Mystic Spellbreaker, the Houndmaster, and the Wild Speaker. Question: how is the Wild Speaker, who uses a staff by the way, mounted when I can't mount with a staff? Did you give them a different weapon? Or it would be mounted in the future with a staff. I need to know. Asking the real questions here. The following mountains units are now mounted if you have an exotic mount, so you're using a trait here. The Barbarian Warrior. Oh no. Oh no. The Dark Pursuer, the Feudal Defender, the High Dawn Defender, the Industrious Marksman, the Mystic Spell Shield, the Glade Runner, First Mounted Archer, the White Witch, and the Evoker. Wow. They gave this to a lot of tier 1 units. Can you imagine a Barbarian Warrior, which was already one of the strongest tier 1 units in the game, on a Nightmare? Wow. Okay. Alrighty. The Mystic Spell Breaker is the tier 3. The Mystic Spell Shield is the tier 2. Interesting. For other changes, added a new optional cavalry tag to the unit panel for units that become mounted if race has exotic mounts. Nice. That's helpful, because one of the optional cavalry units is the Fury, and I didn't know that. Someone kindly explained it to me, so thank you. The Nightmare gained Vicious Killer passive. Nightmare increased defense from 2 to 3, and the Nightmare mount trait now gives vicious killer mounted units. Remember when I said Nightmare on a freaking Barbarian Warrior? Really? That's gonna be great. Is this the Nightmare? This is the Nightmare itself, I believe. These two things. But this is the mount trait. Not bad. Not bad. Because Barbarians really needed to just get more morale. That's what they needed. For the world map, building victory structures will explore the location of the structure to all other players instead of just giving vision. This still triggers a meet event for players that have not met the owner of the victory structure yet. What kind of terrible scouting are you doing to get that going? It's fine. It's fine. So, in the past, what this did was it would just be like a slight light up in the fog of war. You could see like where it was, but now it looks like the whole province will just be exposed. Interesting. The outpost teleporter upgrade logic has been changed. You now choose the teleporter improvement when annexing a province using the outpost work camp, or changes existing improvement into a teleporter, as long as the teleporter infrastructure empire trait has been unlocked. You now choose the teleporter improvement when annexing a province using the outpost war camp. Interesting. Is this saying or changes existing improvement to a teleporter? Is that saying you can't have a work camp and a teleporter simultaneously? Have to test that out. If you attack through an underground passage, the reinforcement rule is now disabled, so it is always a one army versus one army battle. This is a good change. You could attack into a whole stack without even knowing it. If you pillage a province of a free city, they will now wait a while before rebuilding it. Will they actually rebuild it, though? That's the real question. Change text of existing Ancient Wonder events to fit the more bespoke names. The Castle Ruins Ancient Wonder has received an entirely new combat map. Great! I was tired of fighting on that one. Story events no longer auto-generate text, which would call upon special localization tools that are not released to modders. Aww. Which previously made modding story events impossible, this is now fixed. Hey! Good job. I think that the Triumph Studios' relationship with modders is going to help out the survivability of this game a lot. And I hope to continue seeing updates to modding. Not that I'm a modder myself. But one day we will investigate the mods, I promise. Level Editor will now ask where to save new maps, Level Editor various crash fixes, Level Editor decounts, translate, rotate skill gizmos. I know what all this means. Remove localized text dialogues in Resource Editor. Fix crash. Fix city structures from modern DLC showing upgrade out. Good. Great. Alrighty, here's a lot of fixes. So, it seems most of this is about crashing. This update did have a lot of instability. Like, fixed up a lot of the instability. And we experienced quite a bit of those. So I'm just trying to glance over that. You can, of course, pause if you'd like to read these yourself. Or you can go in the description down below if you... Hey, look at that. If you would like to read these yourself as well. But most of these, like I said, they're just crashes, fixed locks. I was looking if there was something about the naval battle, but alas. So, for the AI changes. Fixed issues where vassals that were player cities would not send attack armies or spawn patrolling stacks. Thank you. Fixed issue where AI would get racial transformations while they were not allowed to. Fixed issues where campaign-specific personality traits could get automatically assigned to rulers. I feel like that wasn't a high priority, but okay. Fixed issues where free cities would still think they were at war while they lost their capital on some occasions. Fixed issues where free cities would not defend their domain. Thank you. Fixed issues in the AI missions keeping them from pillaging. Good. Good changes. They still need some work, but don't worry, the roadmap will talk about that. For diplomacy. Great. A lot of this appears to be crashes. Crash by the AI not properly storing and validating the recruit unit from Rally of the Lieges missions. Fix the AI would pick the personality-based diplomacy pose over the one set in faction creator / precept. Fixed issue where the AI would pick the personality-based diplomacy pose over the one set in faction creation / preset for the leader. Do they not always go after the... Can we now set personalities? I'm not quite sure what this means, but it means their personality is less important, I guess. Fixed crash that would happen in the is vassalized check when using it on rulers. Okay. Fixed issue where equipment items could be added multiple times to the same trade in human versus human trading. Love it. Fixed issues where Whispering Stones would not get removed from an owned city when the owner's side has changed. This would cause a crash. And could also cause the player to not be able to withdraw the World Stone, Whispering Stone. Fix an error that could occur on buying equipment. Fix issues where players would sometimes incorrectly receive alignment penalties for breaking treaties when war was declared upon them. This has happened to me. Instead of the war declaring player now receiving the penalties. Good. Good. Fix several issues where the state of the diplomacy trade screen could be wrong if viewing a declined trade where there is already a new proposal, making a counteroffer, or making a counteroffer that is identical to the original offer. Fix issue where AI rulers would still show foreshadowing messages, opportunity to improve the relation or that it will degrade soon, while their leader is within the astral void. Oh, yeah, they're not supposed to do anything when they're in astral void. They're dead. Fix an issue where the 5-turn delay for declaring war on a free city would not be applied when vassalizing a city slash having a vassal city. Fix issue where having negative allegiance on a Whispering Stone could cause a Whispering Stone to become lost if assigned to an owned city and then ended the turn. Aw. I mean, it's good that's changed. Fix issue where trades would sometimes incorrectly fail if it would cost more than half the resource the offering ruler. Or events. Here they are. This is exciting, I'm sure. Faction creation. Form traits should now have the correct values in game. Oh, are they not? Oh, is this like the body and mind traits? Like how we looked at the one where you stand together and gain bonus crit? In the faction creator it said 20% crit, in game it said 10%. Never figured out which it was. But I mean, we still owned that campaign, so who knows. Fixed Ruthless Raiders correctly rewarding hero kills. Fixed Ritual Cannibals correctly rewarding hero kills. Fixed Battlefield Looting correctly rewarding tier 5 unit kills. Ooh. Fixed edited heroes not saving their data due to requesting the same already used file name. And fix an issue where custom titles or changed pronouns would reset as soon as you went into the game. This happened for the High King, Borgrim Grudgebearer. Good. Fixed heroes no longer give their intended unit a reward per level, but just once for all unit kill reward effects. Hero kill reward is equal to a tier 5 unit. Wow. Fixed hero count not updating when a hero gets captured in battle. And fixed issue where recruited heroes who originate from Ancient Wonders would not gain XP or level up. I guess it was a good thing I never used those. Here are quite a few interface fixes, which, you know, are lovely. Beacon of Unity is the correct icon. Great. Alright. Well, it's time for me. This was so long. Again, you can read this if you would like. This was so long that they had to release a part 2. So, let me pull that up real quick. It's a lot shorter. Alrighty, we're back in part 2. Although, a lot of this, again, is just fixing things that were broken. So, fixed issue with selection would reset to the top when buying a new Pantheon unlock. I've had max... Oh, these are controller issues. Don't care. Fixed a bug where the 2 battle tutorial quests would not automatically complete. Okay. For the Pantheon meta system, fixed an issue where one of the Artisan Kings would not correctly link in the Fortens. This right of allegiance and might makes right scripts would give allegiance to relations even if the player was at war with the free city, the city was under siege or was currently occupied, which led to invalid behavior. I haven't used these yet. These are... at least this one, the might makes right, is a modifier that you can do when creating a new realm. I believe this gives relations... This weakens Whispering Stones. It gives relations when you take over a free city with other free cities. Crystal Desert map preset no longer spawns 7x grassland in the middle of uninhabitable provinces. Fair enough. Fixed rare bug where Pantheon leader shows up as heroes while you are playing as that leader. Oh, I wish this happened. Although I haven't played as a Pantheon leader once they joined the Pantheon, so... You imagine playing as Eratus and Eratus shows up? Just, hi! For spells, fixed crash and city targeting spells when a city is owned by marauders. City owned by marauders, huh? I don't think I've ever seen that. Fixed crash that would happen when declaring war through casting a hostile spell. Surprise! Fixed several issues where spell casting would not properly take into account the vassalage rules and queue diplomatic states. I'm not quite sure what that would affect, but good. Fixed issue where Marching Winter spell was incorrectly marked as hostile. Fixed issue where the Consecrated Domain spell was incorrectly marked as hostile. Consecrated Domain Transient Resources, Cycle of Seasons, and Fortress of Vines can now only be used on friendly cities as was once intended. Could you transmute resources on an enemy and just kill their mana income? That's hilarious. Abyssal Flames and Pyroclastic Eruption now properly damage concealed units. Ascended Warriors can now trigger evolution on higher tier units. Is this when you get +1 rank in the party? Was it not causing evolution? Ooh, that would have sucked. Fixed Tectonic Shatter. Spell not actually destroying half of the obstacles in the map, and instead adding an empty combat enchantment. Not sure if it's ever done that to me before. I wasn't paying that close of attention. Fix an incorrect unlock setting for the Garden of Bliss. Lure of the Horde can now give units while the combat took place on a water hex. Necrotic Spires now mention they heal temporary HP instead of normal HP. Caustic Worms can now correctly use unit enchantments. Oh, nice. Earth Shatter Engine units shatter the Earth ability has been fixed. They show up again in the unit's ability bar. Fixed a bug where tower units did not properly get their immunity, so they could bleed and have other effects that didn't make sense for them. Fixed bug where spiderwebs were dealing double damage. There it is. At least Morrigan was finished her campaign. For the world map, there are a lot of bug fixes. Wait a minute, Outpost Upkeep is now correctly removed when the Outpost is converted into a city. Was it not? Was I paying 10 gold for my new cities? Sucks. Fix issue where the city cap penalties would not be applied if the player has 4 or more cities beyond the city cap. Just keep expanding and it'll go away. Just keep doing it. That's funny. Fix magic victory spells losing their effect when reloading a game. This sucked. When I was playing as Morgan, I heard this was happening, and I was so afraid to, like, cut mid-video if I was actually attacked. Spoiler alert, no one ever attacked me for 15 turns. Pretty rude. Map generation where a player would not be connected to anyone else. Aw, I love being alone. But yeah, here are all the bug fixes. Most of these are just good fixes. Throne City now still needs to be sieged if the throne is the only fortification left. Makes sense to me. Still here, be the first to know when we abandon game development and launch our TikTok career. No thank you, I hate TikTok. But of course, that was all of the patches. This is the Wyvern update, which, again, I'm almost as excited about as to play with the Dragon Lords, but there's one more thing to talk about. And that, of course, is the roadmap. And we've made it to the roadmap. Hello, if you skipped ahead. Hi there. After the release of the Dragon Dawn content pack and the associated Wyvern update, of which I just went over the whole thing, it is time to look ahead. I am Lennart Sass, game director of the Age of Wonders series. Today we're sharing our roadmap for 2023, highlighting the free updates in store. In this development diary, we'll delve deeper into our plans, show what we have coming up, and the reasoning behind it, the latter of which I actually find quite interesting. So here's the picture if you are interested. Basically, Dragon Dawn came with the Wyvern update on June 20th, which focused on stability, multiplayer, and quality of life, broad balance pass, diplomacy fixes, and standalone faction creator option. The Watcher update is coming in the free update of sometime during the summer. It is a major AI update, which is very important, research and empire building, magic victory flow, and the underground map. Hopefully, changing it. And in quarter four of this year, the Empires and Ashes DLC is releasing, which will be slightly bigger than Dragon's Dawn, at least it costs like $6 more. Along with the Golem update, new item forge system, war coordination, faction balance and identity, and water gameplay. Hopefully, the water bugs will be fixed before then, but we'll see. You never know. So now come some of the details. Age of Wonders 4 had an exceptional launch with record sales and critical acclaim. This game is Triumph's most ambitious and complex to date, offering more systems and customization options than ever before. Our goal extends beyond providing a fun experience for roleplayers and tinkerers, me. We aim to cater to power gamers, strategy connoisseurs, modders, and multiplayer fans. You, the core of our community. I'm roleplayer and tinkerer, though. Our initial focus was to improve core tech for stability, performance, and multiplayer. Very important. The recent Wyvern update has already made significant progress in these areas. Check out the Wyvern update patch notes for more information. Just went over all those. Of course, future patches will continue to improve stability. Now for the major AI update. This is very important. In a symmetrical strategy game like ours, the AI plays a vital role. We have been working tirelessly to enhance its performances, making it more proactive in general and proficient in various subsystems. This summer's Watcher update will prioritize major AI improvements. Due to the complex nature of the AI, we unfortunately could not bring AI fixes earlier for the Wyvern update. They did bring quite a few, but it looks like they have a lot more in mind, which is good because it needs a lot more. But the Wyvern update was really fast. It hasn't even been 2 months since the game came out yet. So this was really fast. They kind of just snuck in whatever they could from what I understand. Or they probably had like a pipeline of like things they knew they wanted to work on. I imagine that's what it is. Freedom versus constraints. Some design choices, either intentionally or unintentionally, resulted in an overly flexible experience where everything is possible. While accessibility is important, we want choices to have consequences and factions to develop distinctively. We are planning to make significant effort in tightening several aspects of the game in the upcoming updates. This is vague, but this is expanded upon a little bit later, so I'll talk about this soon. One of our highest priorities is revamping the research system. Currently, it is too easy to acquire an abundance of tomes, causing balance issues and often resulting in homogeneous endgame factions. Our changes will limit players to a subset of tomes and affinities in a single session, encouraging more meaningful choices and stronger faction identities. So this is a big deal. These are both kind of the same thing. One of the main complaints from old school Age of Wonders players is that Age of Wonders 4 kind of like broke apart the classes that were in the previous titles, and well, classes and races, and kind of just spread them out. And right now, if you so desire, you can get every single tome in the game. Every single empire upgrade, every single spell, enchantment, whatever. You can only have one major racial transformation, but you can get all the minor ones. And I've never been sure how I feel about that. Now, I do like this idea. I want this to be a thing where when you go in, you want to have a game plan for your faction. This is way bigger for role players than anything else, really. Again, which I associate with. But I have one concern, and it's the Tome of Terramancy. Even if Terramancy is not a part of your game plan at all, Tremor Ritual is such a powerful siege mechanic, like siege slot, that I want it in every single playthrough. It destroys everything. And again, it's kind of cool that it could be, just Materium, but it's gonna feel weird to play without it for late game sieges. And secondly, perhaps more importantly, terraforming. Terraforming was a huge part of Age of Wonders Planetfall and was kind of just in the generic research tree. But in Age of Wonders 4, the mountain destruction is only in Terramancy. There are other forms of terraforming, and I'm not sure if you can use like the ice terrain or grassland terrain to override mountains, but if you can't, Terramancy is just very important. So I'd like to see them expand on the terraforming a little bit, and that made me feel better about this. But still, I think this is a great idea, and I hope it's done right. It's going to be very important. More checks and balances will be introducing additional checks and balances to various mechanics, such as tightening rules for casting summons, limiting the impact of direct damage spells on the world map, and imposing more severe penalties for exceeding the hero cap. Yeah, 30 gold upkeep is not much of a penalty. It's really not. Like, you ignore that very quickly, as we learned in the Olway campaign. As for the direct damage spells on the world map, I haven't been using these. Like, are these good? Do people think this needs to be nerfed? Casting summons are a little out of hand. I will agree with that. As for victory conditions, we aim to make winning feel like a true achievement while ensuring losing feels fair. That's a hard one to do. We acknowledge the need for improvement in magic victory, which often occurs too early and does not scale along with map size / session length. Or the AI never attacks you. We want player factions to actively prevent opponents from reaching victory rather than relying on PvE pressure. Expect a reworked magic victory in the upcoming Watcher update, so this summer. Okay. Seal's Victory will return as a premium feature for Empires and Ashes. It's back, baby! So Seal's Victory was in Age of Wonders 3. And what it was, there were these seals that were placed around the map, and you could dictate how many seals you need to accumulate, but I don't remember if you could dictate how many seals there were. It's been a while. But basically, you would set an amount of seals that you need to accumulate, and for each seal you controlled, you would gain 1 seal per turn. And It's kind of like the Magic Victory. There'll be things that spawn in to try and stop you, but they would be elementals. So the seals were supposed to be like these seals of ancient primeval power, and you were siphoning them every turn by standing on them and holding them, and the elements themselves were turned against you to try and stop you. It was really fun, but if you played Age of Wonders 3 on the highest difficulty, oh, the AI was brutal if you tried to go for Seal's Victory. They went hard to stop you. So I'm quite curious to see if they'll just copy-paste it, or if they'll change it up a bit. I enjoyed Seal's Victory in Age of Wonders 3, and I look forward to enjoying it here near the end of the year. Maps. While map generation system continues to evolve, there are specific areas we want to give extra attention to. For the Watcher update this summer, we're enhancing the underground. Yes. Making caverns more spacious and valuable, relocating the ore class of magic materials predominantly underground. Oh. Okay. Granting higher annex ranges for underground cities, and introducing themed infestations through excavation. Okay, this is all good. I like all of this. So, they want to make caverns more spacious and valuable. This and this one, the higher annexes, kind of play hand in hand, because the underground has a lot of bedrock, which is, you can't remove bedrock. It's just there. It's in the way. So, if you have more provinces that are valuable, that's good. Many times you get a province and you can just build a hut on it, unless you are an underground adapted civilization. And granting higher annex ranges means that even if you do have a lot of bedrock around you or worthless things, you can go farther to try and get to something good. These are both phenomenal changes. This change is quite interesting, relocating the ore class of magic materials predominantly underground. So what this would change, the Arcanium ore, the Fireforged stone, Arcane crystals? With the last ore one? So these being predominantly underground would incentivize above ground races to go underground, because as things stand, there is zero reason for anyone to go underground, really. Even underground adapted races want to go above as soon as possible. So I think this could be amazing if they walk the line carefully. I don't want them to make it too crazy where like being underground is the place to be. Well, it would kind of make sense, right? Like, we're always mining for new resources. Well, not new in real life anymore, but you get the point. And themed infestations could be interesting. If they mean themed infestations as infestations that are already in the game, they're just, you know, adding more variety, that's cool. Variety is great. But if they're adding in new ones for underground, get the chaos point, and maybe we'll get new units. That'd be great. Water gameplay improvements are also planned, offering more reasons to explore and ways to exploit water provinces, as well as enhancing naval encounters. This is 10 out of 10. I want this right now. But patience. Most of the water provinces are, I mean, you can only put fisheries down, right? Hopefully that is expanded upon. But even when there are improvements in the water province, there are two, as far as I'm aware, the oyster and the fishing schools. The fishing schools get plus 10 food, the oyster gets plus 10 gold, but you can't interact with them at all. So hopefully that's continued to expand. We may need to do another island. We may need to open up the Forgotten Isles of Valar. Lava gameplay, including lava walking and faction-specific lava sector exploitation, is under consideration for future updates. Oh. Right now, lava is just like impassable terrain. It basically acts the same way as bedrock, just above ground. I'd like this. This would be fun. It will increase the number of notches on player distance / relative map size, so there is some more granularity there. Number of notches. Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but great. For new features, in addition to addressing issues, we are dedicated to introducing exciting new features. The Golem update will bring a war coordination system for vassals and other players, allowing you to request assistance in attacking specific targets. Don't worry. It's coming at the end of this year. Total War took 7 years to get there. But it's a decent system in Warhammer 3, so I look forward to seeing it here. We're also developing an all-new item forge. The design already looks very promising as it integrates the collected magical material nodes in your domain. So item forging is in Age of Wonders 3, but it's very basic. Like, you build a forge in one of your cities, and you feed it mana or gold to make something. Or is it just mana? I think it's mana primarily. and you could like add slots to it or whatever. Most of them were just kind of mediocre. There's like maybe 1 or 2 really good ones. But if this requires collected magical materials, that could be really fascinating. Interesting, interesting. Balancing the game remains an ongoing task, focusing on addressing overpowered meta playstyles and combat synergies. Top priority goes to adjusting the buffing of ranged units, among other considerations. Yeah. Faction creation lies at the heart of the game, and we are committed to enhancing it across updates. Expect more options for customization and evolution, such as an additional form trait slot, and traits themselves, and new ways to alter army visuals. Okay. So they have mind and body. Would it be like a spirit trait or something? Good. I'm in. I like this a lot. Adding new traits themselves, very good, and new ways to alter army visuals. Right now, army visuals don't really matter. Like, the biggest army visuals are the racial transformations. That's it. We are striving to improve faction identity and differentiation both from the start and as factions progress as we continue to develop the game. We hope this summary of our upcoming plans is helpful. Please note all of the above is in various stages of development, so things may change. To conclude, we sincerely appreciate your continuous support, invaluable feedback, and patience as we enhance Age of Wonders 4. Your input fuels our passion to create the best strategy game possible. Thank you for being a part of our community, and please continue sharing your thoughts. If you are interested, there is a closed beta that you can apply to test stuff out and give them feedback, but as it's closed, I'm sure it's under NDA, so I'm not interested in joining. Meaning I wouldn't be able to share, any of their changes. And that is the roadmap. I'm very excited about this. I think they're addressing all of my concerns anyway. And I think that if they continue like this, the biggest thing about Age of Wonders 4, it's a good game by default, right? Like, its foundation is good, I think. But what's going to bring it to that next level is their interest in communicating with the community. And so far, they've listened to the community. They've made patches just for mods. Like, there was a patch, like the 3rd or 4th patch was just to fix something that was breaking with modders. And I think that if they continue with that mentality in mind, Age of Wonders 4 could go on for a long time. This could be perhaps one of the best in the series. But if you made it to the end, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this rare patch update video. Tomorrow, about 12-ish hours after this video goes up, I'll be beginning our new tale as the King Under the Mountain, Smaug the Terrific. Or whichever title I choose. I haven't made him yet. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to the patrons and the channel members who support the channel. I greatly appreciate you. If you would like to stay up to date with anything happening on the channel, feel free to join the Discord description down below, and I will see you tomorrow for some Smaug Dragon Lord gameplay. Bye!